This episode is presented to you by NFL Sunday Ticket, now on YouTube and YouTube TV. With NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube and YouTube TV, you can watch your favorite teams' out-of-market Sunday games, plus watch up to 4 games at once with Multiview. Don't miss the race to the playoffs. NFL Sunday Ticket is now just $39 when bundled with YouTube TV, where you get even more football. Visit youtube.com/Spotify offer to sign up now. Lowest price on YouTube TV with base plan. Rest of 2023 season. Terms and embargoes apply. No cancellations.
Live Moss at home and have Taco Bell your way. Create and enjoy that craveable Taco Bell experience using the full lineup of Taco Bell sauces, shells, seasonings, queso, and more. Available at the grocery store. Whenever you want to, it's easy to bring those cheesy, saucy, crunchy, spicy Taco Bell flavors to your kitchen. So get creative and customize your tacos any way you want. Find Taco Bell products in the Mexican aisle at your nearest grocery store. Taco Bell is a registered trademark owned and licensed by Taco Bell Corp.
This episode is brought to you by Google Pixel, the official fan phone of the NBA and WNBA. The new Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro are built different. How? Take the Audio Magic Eraser tool. It helps block out distracting crowd noise so your play-by-play commentary sounds crystal clear. The only phone engineered by Google brings out the audio you care about so your videos sound as crisp as they look. Learn more at googlestore.com/Pixel NBA. Audio Magic Eraser requires Google Photos app. May not work on all audio elements.
Between all too early mornings and way too late nights, putting out fires and firing off new ideas, you deserve to be rewarded for growing your business. That's why American Express Blue Business Plus gives you 2 times membership rewards points on your first $50,000 in purchases per year. It's rewards that make running your business even more rewarding. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/blue-business-plus. Amex Blue Business Plus. Built for business by American Express.
Of those 3, who's the heir apparent to Peter Vermees? Those 3, and we get 3 more years of Vermees.
Benny.
Not Ilya?
No. Ilya's too nice.
Yep, he'd be a good assistant coach.
I can't see Ilya going, damn it, you need to move the ball faster. No, move, I can't see him doing that.
Was that your Spanish accent?
Oh, I was thinking it was German. It's like, Vermees German? What?
Give me beer, whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
There's something in the air, guys. It just feels right, doesn't it? Everything seems to be coming up. Sporting KC. We got our grizzled veteran, the club legend, Graham Zusi has found himself again. He's regained his form. He remembered what he was a decade ago. The 6 seed has beaten the 3 seed. RSL takes down the Sounders in Seattle. We get another home game in front of the Blue Hell. And oh yeah, we've got a Mexican assassin just waiting in the shadows, ready to be unleashed. Thad, I will not let you bring me down. I'm feeling too good right now. It's playoff week. I feel good.
So are you all tingly there, Cody?
I'm just worried about eating all that crow with all the smack I talk about Zusi and Shelton.
I know, man. I was thinking of you when Shelton scored. Of course, it wasn't like the greatest goal in the world.
He's trying hard to bring me down, and he will not do it.
I'm not.
It was a flub. It was a flub.
Oh, I said that to David.
That's one opinion. The other opinion is it was artfully placed inside the post.
It was hit into the ground and bounced over into I'll buy that.
There's like a 4% of the time whenever someone kicks the ball and it goes directly down, did they mean to do it? And that I don't think that was one of them. But
whatever works.
You head the ball down, you don't kick the ball down. But he was in the right place. He put it at goal, which is more than a lot of people do.
He did. Yeah, so I'm feeling good. David and I bonded. We watched this game together. I joined him and his wife, and I was in the cauldron with him. We were right behind the goal for Zusi's screamer. It was a good game. And he asked me one question, and I realized I didn't have a very good answer to it. And he was like, where does Thad normally shoot these games? And I was like, I think he goes on like feeling or vibe on whatever he's got that day, on wherever he thinks will be the good side to shoot on. Where were you at for that one?
I was on the attacking half on both halves. So
Nice.
I actually kind of got lucky in that they didn't attack the normal direction the first half, because I wanted to be on the Cauldron Inn for the second half just in case it went to PKs, because that's where they would go.
That's a good thought when you're talking about a Sporting KC game, because they always seem to go to PKs.
Yeah, win or go home games, there's a fair chance there's a PK involved.
That's right.
If you had Melia, you'd play for them too.
No, I guess if you're RSL, you play for them too.
Yes, we will talk more about that RSL game, because my God, it's just an amazing thing has happened here, and it's just more Sounders tears, and we're gonna eat all of it up later. I will not let any of it go. Don't worry, people. But
I do believe the ocean rose an inch over the last couple of days from all the Sounder tears.
Yes, the Puget Sound was riding high a little, I think, in the last week or so. So yes, let's talk about, I know it's a few days removed now. We waited until we had a result in that last game, but I do want to talk about this game. 3-1 over the Vancouver Whitecaps after the coach's name, which I will not justify by saying it out loud, was talking shit and seemingly motivated the team to a victory. And yeah, Graham Zusi, I know I brushed on at the beginning, but we need a Graham Zusi appreciation hour. Let's just start the conversation there. David turned to me and said, I think about the third minute of that game, "Oh, Zusi looks good today." And he just kept playing better, like, as the game went on. Yeah, it was just, the entire time he looked wonderful.
Honestly, I think Zusi's looked good all year, man. He hasn't scored a lot. He hasn't scored a screamer like that, but touch and passing and defense has even been pretty good. I mean, that's his weak spot back there, is defense, and it's been pretty decent most of the year. There's been moments, but it's been moments for everybody.
Oh man, it just sent chills down my spine. It almost seemed like there was like a moment of silence after it went in, of just like everything stood still as I was just trying to decide if this has actually happened or if I was flashing back to a decade ago. And oh my gosh, yeah, watching that net bulge right in front of us was just such a beautiful thing. Graham Zusi. I was wearing his jersey, the Hoops jersey, the 2013 with the gold star. Oh, it was just so perfect.
See, you have to wear that on the next game, man.
Right, I will be wearing it.
See if you can recreate it. But you're asking like where I was shooting in that half. I was on, if you were Sporting attacking, I would be to the right side of the goal. So that ball went out to Zusi. And quite honestly, there's times I won't shoot like when somebody's shooting. It depends on the position of other players and a lot of other factors. But I did pop off a couple shots when he was shooting, and then I initially, again, Zusi doesn't make those that often. Nobody makes shots like that often, so that's not criticism of Zusi, but I saw that and I could see the trajectory it was going, so I swung to try to catch it. And it's not the best shot in the world, except that the keeper is mid-air with the ball behind them, so it's not like my greatest shot in the world, but it was there. And then I swung back to him to try to catch the celebration. And the thing I loved is after the game, he goes, "Yeah, and after it went in, I went to celebrate with the fans." Most players celebrate. They run to a corner and do whatever they're going to do. Maybe it's with the reserves, the guys warming up. Maybe it's family, or just stand there and look, like something. He ran to like the middle of the field and jumped like right to the east stand. So
he did. He turned and ran just in the general direction of the sideline, and then ran up the sideline for his celebration. Enjoyed it with the whole sideline there. Yeah, that was beautiful. And we can't forget that. I think, one of the times during that game that confirmed to us, oh, Zusi is in the zone today, was he set up is it the first goal?
The Shelton goal.
Yeah, that was the Kyrie goal. Yeah, he not only did he have the assist on it, but he started the play, like you said, that he's been looking good on defense. He made a perfect time to step up, intercepted a pass, and kept possession after the immediate challenge, passed the ball off, made the 60-yard run down the field, and then a diving scissor kick assist. Like the guy is just, how old is he now? Where Is he 30? Man, what are we at? 33,
He's
34?
35. He's 35, I think.
35.
But I think that play, frankly, was more impressive than the goal. I mean, the goal was great.
Absolutely.
It was a screamer, but that the length of that run, to read the pass, to intercept it, to go on that marauding run forward, to hit the diagonal to Daniel, and to continue that run into the box to where he could eventually cross it. I mean, it was an incredible play.
Each of those, I don't even know which one of the parts of that is my favorite. The tackle on the one end, or the immediate way, he won possession, and then there was another guy that challenged him for the ball immediately upon winning it. He won that one, got the pass off, and then the willingness to make that run. And then I was actually kind of watching him once he got into the box, and there was a kind of a moment of hesitation, like, where's the best place to be here? And he, it gave Shallowy enough time to look up and see him over there and just pick him out and lob that ball all the way over there. And it wasn't the best cross, hence the sliding scissor kick. But that's another part of why that play was so good.
But the big thing for him was all the diagonals, the switches to Daniel, and
on his goal.
I think
that's what started it. It was,
all game long. And I think, Vermees gets a lot of flack for not, being tactically flexible enough, let's say. But, we invited Vancouver's midfield and their wing backs forward, and then just exploited their center backs in space. They didn't have anybody who could match Johnny and Daniel. And Zusi was just pinging those balls perfectly to Daniel all night long. And I think that contributed heavily to why we won.
Yeah, he has been doing that ball all year long. Yeah, sorry, Thad, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing. He's right. It did contribute to it. And Vermees's tactics, not only of the long switches, which they do a lot in the regular season, but they allowed the defense to have the ball. They allowed Vancouver's defense to have the ball. They didn't high press. They kind of pulled back to more like of a mid block. And as soon as Vancouver's defense would go forward, then they would attack it, take it, and then go.
And I think that's good spot to talk about what we were touching on before we started here, of the surprising possession stats from this game. 60-30 to Vancouver to Sporting. And David and I didn't really notice that, because it is kind of hard while you're getting drunk and getting rowdy in the cauldron from that angle. But that wasn't something I had noticed. And yes, I think you're exactly right. I think it was part of the game plan, and it clearly worked very well.
Well, and I noticed it because the game was on the other end. Since I was in the attacking half, shooting from on both halves, the game was on the other end much more than I'm used to. Usually if it's like I'm on the defensive half for Sporting, I'm used to the game being on the other end, and it's a different way of shooting and thinking about what I'm doing at the time. But I was like sitting there for like, dang, come on down, guys.
It's really interesting looking at kind of the heat maps of both teams, of where everybody kind of ended up settling in. And essentially Sporting kind of vacated the center of the park. I mean, everything was played up along the sides, because we didn't want to try and play through all those midfielders. And Vancouver's got, talented midfielders. Ryan Gauld is really good. Russell Tybert's really good. And so they kind of invited them forward, but then looking at where Vancouver ended up, once they kind of got into our attacking third, they got funneled out on the wings. They weren't able to get into dangerous spots in the middle of the pitch where they could really do a lot of damage. They ended up forcing Brian White and Christian Dahome out to the wings, which certainly, helped out Fonte and Izzy.
Yeah, because Vancouver still had a fair amount of shots. I mean, not a lot, but 6 shots, 4 on goal, I believe.
More than Salt Lake City did.
Yeah.
Thad had more shots than Salt Lake City.
I know.
How about let's talk about the defense in this game, because it's weird to call the defense maybe the question this year, because the team has done really well and there's been plenty of shutouts. But at the same time, Ilya, not a center back, was kind of helping us hold down the back line. And now Nicholas Isimat Marine, Issy, is back and got himself a goal. And look at that. We have a guy that can do stuff and that's athletic on set pieces. Do we call that that? Yeah, sorry, David. That was David's joke there. After that went in, he was like, do we call that a set piece?
Sure.
I mean,
Third ball, fourth ball, whatever.
Yeah, it was the fourth or fifth ball after one, but I'm gonna count it.
It's all in that run of play. It's in that same phase of the game.
Yes, and he kneed the ball in, the rare knee goal. I always love it. And it wasn't a mishit in any way. That was where the ball was, and he did what he had to do to put it in.
It did bounce around a bit there though.
Yeah, his genuine reaction. I love a good genuine reaction. He was very surprised by it. You can just see all this work that he had put in to get back on the field, and you could feel all of that in that celebration there. So that was a beautiful thing. I've been rooting for Izzy all year long, and if he's gonna be playing like that on the offensive end, and him and Fonte are gonna hold down the back line like that, then yeah, this team is gonna be very hard to beat. And that's why I started this podcast chanting, because man, it really does feel like everything is going our way, and I can just smell an MLS Cup.
One of the interesting things that after the game, Vermees, I can't remember if he was asked specifically about him or just it was randomly came up, but he talked about how Izzy, if he had been healthy all year, he goes, no disrespect to Fonte, but Izzy would have been our Defender of the Year candidate for MLS, not Fonte. So wow. That's how much he talked about what he can do.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. I love if Peter Vermees is getting excited about somebody, I'm going to get excited about somebody.
Especially a defender.
Well, he himself is one, so I feel like he should always be getting excited about defenders now.
Well, he was an attacker too. He was on the national team as a forward, man. So.
Yeah, and we can't forget the old style of PKs back then. He's got some chops on attacking goalkeepers.
Yeah, it was nice to see, Graham get the goal, Shelton get the goal, Izzy get the goal. Yes, you always want your goal scorers to score, but it's
they were
nice
all feel good. They were all feel good goals.
Let's hope the feel good continues.
Yes, everybody you're rooting for.
We limited Vancouver to really only one good look, which was I think it was Brian White, the header that Timmy got down and saved. And I will tell you, I'm gonna tell you a secret about Cody Bradley. Mr. I don't like goalies. Goalies are trees. Cody looked at me after that and was like, credit where credit's due. That was incredible. There's not a lot of keepers in the league who are saving that. But yes, a lot of good looks on goal.
No, they didn't. But I just want to point out, it's not. So now I have proof. It is not that I'm just a hater. I'm not just a hater of keepers. I respect quality play. My issue is with crediting keepers when they're standing still and the ball hits them in the chest and things like that. That's my issue. I appreciate good goalkeeping, and that was a fantastic save. That is a very quick guy at a position where guys are not normally that quick, and he got down there and made a very good save. All credit. I didn't hear what the television announcers said, but whatever they said, he deserved the credit on that.
Yeah. Another way you could tell the tactics were completely different this game is Tim was kicking it long.
I didn't notice that. Good job, Thad.
Fonte was kicking it long, Tim, but like normally it's play out of the back, play it to a center back or a outside back, but Tim was kicking it to midfield. Totally different tactics. They were bypassing the good pressure that Vancouver can do, bypassing that, taking it out. So Vermees,
and again, like you said, letting them have the ball.
Yeah, Vermees hinted at that a little bit in earlier conversations earlier this week when we were at Pinnacle, and just saying that you do things all year and you set stuff up. He goes, you always want to win, but you're setting stuff up for this time of year. So I think part of that was like, hey, we never do anything different. We never do anything different. Of course they do, but they're always going to play out of back no matter what. And then they didn't.
I'm sorry. Are you saying, do you have Peter Vermees dropping breadcrumbs in midweek interviews for his opponents that he's just leaving Easter eggs for people to decide what he's going to do that weekend?
I don't think it was for this weekend. I think it was just explaining last weekend.
He's a master manipulator, that one.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk. I wanted to say something there, but I'm gonna hold my tongue on this one for a little bit.
Yes, as Thad always does, he, instead of saying the content that he has in his head, he keeps it in his head, forgetting we're on a podcast, trying to produce content.
Thad, we can always edit.
No, when you say we, Cody, that's Cody would have to edit it, and I don't want to. So far, I have 0 marks. I've marked 0 things for edits so far. So let's see if we can get through this segment, you guys. Any other? Let's. What have we missed here from this? Who have we not talked about?
Do we want to talk about our favorite Portuguese left back and the handball?
The handball. I mean, what's the question there? Was it a handball? Because yes, it was. Or just like how ridiculous is it? Just MLS? Are we just used to weird things happening like that in MLS? Because I don't know. It just looks so weird.
There's a question as to why. Like, why at all was that the play? And there was a good discussion on our board about, what was the point of even playing the ball? Because let's say he had successfully controlled the ball. He had nowhere to go. He's facing the end line. And what was he going to do? Whereas he could have easily just let it bounce and run out and shielded off the attacker. So there was a questionable decision. But even that said, and I think Martins is probably our worst player in the field. He still had a relatively good game.
Yeah, I don't want to just crap on Luis Martins there, because I think I pointed out to you at some point that I think he has actually performed quite admirably this year. But yeah, it was just such an ugly play. Like, I don't know. It just didn't look right. It didn't look like quality soccer to me for some reason. But the best part of it was I don't know about this is the best part. I was in the bathroom. I left for that. I was in the bathroom for it. And when I came back, I tried to hurry back to get in, to be there in time to see Timmy save it, which he eventually did not. But by the time I got back, everyone was still pissed off. Like in the Cauldron, no one had seen what I saw in the bathroom because I could see it on TV. I could see the blatant handball that it was. And so I get back and everyone is just
You should think about
off.
how that sounded. Nobody could see what I saw in the bathroom.
Oh no. Yeah, so no one had the magical view that I had in the men's bathroom of the Cauldron at that time. And they were not aware that it was a blatant handball. And so everyone was so pissed off. It was just, the world was against us. The referee hated it. It was just a huge juxtaposition from being inside the members stand where everyone could see what happened. And then you get outside to the drunken Neanderthals.
Well, in defense of the drunken Neanderthals.
Well, I was one of them. I'm not hating.
I was a mostly sober Neanderthal. Watching it live, and that play happened right in front of where we were sitting. Watching it live, you couldn't really tell what exactly it hit. I thought it could have hit off the top of his shoulder, which wouldn't have been a handball. And when you came back, I said, was it a handball? And you said, yeah, obviously, if you watch it on TV. But I think, it was clear because the play went to VAR.
Yeah, he didn't call it live.
So live, it was tough to tell.
Mm-hmm.
And so in defense of our friends in the Cauldron, it was very hard to see live that it was a problematic play. Once the team didn't play the replay on the scoreboard, you knew it was a problem though.
Oh, and no defense needed. This is the beautiful thing about playoff soccer, is just the sheer level of desperation that everyone in the audience is just, every roll of the ball is so desperate. And yes, that's what the playoffs are for. If every call the referee makes, he is cheating and he is against us. And that guy on the other team is the worst human being that you have ever seen in your life, even though he's never done anything to you.
This episode is brought to you by Cricket Wireless. People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket. They also know which podcast ads to pay attention to. Sure, finding a new job sounds cool, and even we're a little curious about mail order meals. But doesn't finding the phone of your dreams sound more fun? At Cricket, you can score deals on many of the latest 5G phones, Plus, you'll find the latest models from the brands you love like Samsung, Motorola, and so many more. We're talking about phones with serious wow factor. You know, the ones with those fun features you tell yourself you don't need but are secretly jealous of. It's truly a sight to behold. So what are you waiting for? It's not just this ad giving you a sign, it's the universe. If your old phone's letting you down, maybe it's time to let go by switching to Cricket and upgrading to a phone that'll turn heads for a price that's sure to make you smile. Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. Fees, terms, and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
21 shots to 0 shots. I will not get over this. RSL took 0 shots. You guys, they took 0. I don't know if you heard me say shots on goal. No. They took 0 shots. This is including, I don't mean they took a shot and it was blocked immediately and it didn't get registered as a shot. They took 0 shots and RSL won the game. I love sports. I love soccer and I hate the Seattle Sounders.
Long of David Ochoa.
Oh, when I woke up and saw what happened, it went into PKs and I was like, my immediate first thought was, I really hope they just missed the PK and that Ochoa doesn't get credit for the save. I don't like him. I have an issue with Ochoa. I don't know why. I don't know if it's his face, but there's just something about him, and I do not like him. Maybe it's the U23 World Cup, or I'm sorry, the Olympic qualifying shame that we failed, but I don't know. There's just something about him I didn't like. Now
he did sabotage the U.S., didn't he?
He's
before switching to Mexico. Yeah, he was a Mexico mole, man. That's
yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's a valid reason. He decided to not play for the U.S. anymore. I guess I was forgetting that when I started my hatred of him, restarted my hatred of him last night. This guys, it's just, is this not a beautiful thing about sports that this team did it? As David, tell me how did this team accomplish this? What does the team do? Is this the game plan to just, we're going into Seattle and we're just going to piss them off the entire time?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they were doing. I watched the game. I stayed up to the detriment of my sleep last night, and RSL just played super compact. It was a 4-4-2, as low of a bunker as you can get. They weren't trying in the first half. I think said that Pablo Mastroeni was just playing for a draw to half. And then they're like, yeah, and something can happen in the second half. We'll find out. Seattle had Rui Diaz and Lodero on the bench. Jordan Morris started.
I loved it. The broadcast just kept showing these star players just chilling on the bench, goofing around, just sitting on the bench. Meanwhile, Kellen Rowe's out there running.
Superstar Kellen Rowe.
Hey, he's played every game for him, man.
I know.
He's actually played pretty good for Seattle. He's played pretty good for Seattle.
I didn't mean to get on that. Oh my God, Kellen Rowe.
And in defense of RSL, they were without Albert Rusnak, who tested positive for COVID, right before the game, really. So Seattle's a much better team, and RSL played for the draw and just figured, in PKs, anything can happen. And PKs, anything did happen. On the second shot for Salt Lake, it got saved. It was one of the worst PKs you'll ever see. I think it was Ruiz. And then Stephen Fry was off his line. You get to retake it. It was another bad PK take, but it snuck in.
He was off his line. There was no controversy there, right? He was off his line. It was an easy call. Okay. Yeah. It
not
was
even close.
It's just hilarious that he did it on a goal that he had absolutely no need to at all. Thad could have saved that one.
Yeah. And
even you, Cody.
even the new trees in my yard. But then, yeah, I mean, neither keeper looked particularly good during this shootout. Ochoa guessed right late on Lodero, and got a finger on it, but couldn't save it. And then Kellen Rowe, I guess, did us a solid. Maybe this was Ochoa was a mole for Mexico. This is a long play by Vermees where we sent Kellen Rowe to Seattle to sabotage them for us. I have a theory.
No. He is a Seattle guy, man. he has the skyline of Seattle tattooed on his arm. He is a Seattle guy. So there wasn't a mole and it wasn't a deep lying operation there by the KGB or anything. He just fucked up.
I have no ill will towards Kellen Rowe. I'm just
No, he's a nice guy.
Flabbergasted that he was an integral part of this team, and when he was in Kansas City, it just looked like that guy he doesn't have anything left to offer MLS, is what it looked like when he was here.
And he went back to New England, didn't he?
Yeah.
After he left here, and he had nothing to offer there,
And
then
that
he went
didn't
to
work
Seattle.
out.
And maybe it's the air, the coffee, the smell of fish. I don't know.
I was watching this game wondering why I was worried about Seattle all year. Kellen Rowe's out there running around, man. and then it was just I was like, there's no way. Like watching the PKs, I was like, all right, there's no way he's one of these. He took a PK, and then it keeps. I didn't know that it went into 6. I saw him go through the first 5, and I was like, oh man. And it continues, and he comes out as number 6, and I was like, oh, there's no way. Oh, Kellen Rowe is the one that misses this 100%, and of course he did. And it just blows my mind that. And I was talking about earlier, if Vermees gets excited about a player, then I'm gonna get excited. And you can question we do try to question some on-field tactics from Vermees, but the eye for talent, his ability to get the most out of certain players, I feel like we're very lucky to have him on our team. We've built this roster that is missing a star $10 million player, and it looks like without that, it looks like they're one of the top contenders for MLS Cup.
One of the guys that they sent up there, Seattle sent up to take a penalty, was, I'm not going to try to say his name totally right, so I'm timeouting on the fine jar, but
he's bailing out on getting a fine.
Sissoko.
Yeah. 21 years old and a defender. That's not the guy you normally send up in your first 5 to take a penalty.
Yeah.
I mean, do they not trust those like superstar scorer attackers?
I will say the penalties were very well taken. First 10.
He took a good one.
Yeah.
It was a surprise that he was one of the ones that went up there.
Well, they sent Rui Diaz first, and Lodero was kind of the anchor. But João Paulo took one. Frankly, Alex Roldan, and I'm trying not to throw up as I praise Seattle. Alex Roldan had an incredible take. Right after Damir Kralak, they both went upper 90. They were shot, hammered into the top corner. They were great strikes.
Someone, a nameless player, because it's RSL. I don't know. It's just RSL. A nameless player that someone had the best PK of all of them, I think, though. Someone just rolled it into the post, and the keeper's fry went the right direction, and it was still just had absolutely no chance. That right there is my favorite PK. It is an unstoppable. The keeper can guess the right direction, but if you put it in the right spot that you want to, it's still unstoppable. And yeah, that was the best looking one for me. So, and again, it's hard. Like you said, you don't want to give Seattle too much credit. I don't either, but then I also don't want to give RSL too much credit either.
Well, the most terrifying moment of the game was after Kellen Rowe had missed, and Justin Glad, who at one point was a real special talent, and he's now just kind of fine.
Yeah.
Goes up to take his PK, and he hits the post, and it rolls across the goal line to hit the other post, and it goes in. And I'm watching it live, and all I can think of is the double doink.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just kept waiting for that ball to spin out and Seattle to win this shootout.
Yeah, it was a double doink to win it. It just went on the correct side of the post.
It had just the right spin too, because if it had a little bit different spin, it was coming the other way.
So now I've forgotten his name. The guy we just mentioned that was out, the COVID list guy.
Rusnak.
Albert Rusnak.
Rusnak, yes. It's a short turnaround for RSL because MLS doesn't know how to schedule things, and we get some few extra days rest there. So RSL on short rest. Is Rusnak going to be back? Is he still going through protocol? I don't know. I don't even know what the MLS COVID protocol time frame is. Does anyone know anything about in the inner workings of Major League Soccer.
Yes, but no. The problem is it keeps changing. Like the protocols change. So at one point, if you tested positive, you were gone for 2 weeks, and then you had to go through a battery of tests and practice on your own and stuff like that. And then it keeps getting shortened. But that's the way it was with everything. Like even my daughter's high school, they just recently changed the quarantine and all type rules that if they do this, but then they come back, then they have to wear a mask for a week or something. So I don't know what the rules are, and I don't know if anybody does.
I think you just came up with a new slogan for Major League Soccer. No, but yes.
Yeah, it's pretty applicable, man.
A week turnaround would be pretty quick. I would anticipate that he's not going to play, that he's not going to be able to play.
A lot would depend on when it was actually tested positive. We found out the day of the game, but the morning because that was Tuesday morning, we were at Sporting, and Ilya said, I know that some players on some teams around the league have tested positive. So he was referring to active teams at that point, and I'm pretty sure he was referring to Rusnak.
Huh. Okay.
So they knew.
So
it'd be nice if he's out.
That would be very nice.
If it had been maybe 3 days before that and they just announced it that day, playing gamesmanship with Seattle, not letting Seattle know that he wasn't going to be there. Who knows?
So the question remains. We ask again the same question that we've been asking for 2 months now. Is Alan Pulido? Do we need him to start? Do we want him to start? Does he wait in the shadows and come on in the 70th?
I think
minute?
Last week everybody said he was starting except one person. That was me.
I can't. No, I'm not sure. I can't remember who it was. Somebody might have been saying that. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember. It's not really important.
It was Cindy.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. It was definitely Cindy.
To answer your question, do we need Pulido to start? Maybe not. Do we want him to start? I think so. If last night was any indication, RSL is going to try and bunker, and they're going to play for that one counter if they can, or they're going to, play for the non-PK handball bullshit in the box like they did this past time.
I think we saw the exact game plan. I don't know why they would change a single thing if it worked.
Right. So I think it'd be beneficial to have Pulido in there. But maybe Kyrie will score another banger. That's right, a banger.
Maybe.
Or the other guys filled in. We had the role players, the grizzled veterans showed up in game one, and then now the stars come out in the next few matches here. Shallowy gets one, Russell gets a brace. That's how I see this going.
Yeah. And normally if you have a team that's bunkering and you score on them in say the first 20 minutes, you start to they're going to start to pull out a little bit because they're going to start to want to play the game to make that goal up, especially in a win or go home kind of situation. But I think RSL would stay bunkered until the 85th minute. Like literally they would just stay bunkered until the very last minute and then attack, which is kind of what they did when they were here last time.
Yeah, they will most likely do that. And I think, yes, so last week you're right. Every single person on here, except for I can't quite remember who, maybe Cindy, wanted. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Thad, your mic must be off. Everyone thought Pulido was going to start, and of course he did not. But I've changed my tune on that. I don't know after how well everything worked in that first one. And this, but see, now I'm second guessing it. I think the thing that worked the most in this one was, like you said, just a complete change in tactics, that we're no longer going to build out from the back. We're fine with you playing with the ball.
Yep.
And I think that's what might have been the most successful there. So that being said, he can come out and surprise them on this one as well. But it's just, you got to think it would be hard to switch things up the way things are going. The back line will obviously remain the same. You can't get Graham Zusi off the field. Issy's got to stay on there. And, I don't, not that there's there's no magic person you can bring in the midfield. I don't think Jose Mauri is going to necessarily step up the play in the midfield to a new level. So yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be the lineup again. And then you can bring on Polito, like I said, bring him out of the shadows, and he can, whip on his cape there in the 75th minute. Hopefully we don't need a goal, but his fresh legs can come on and shore things up.
Yeah, I mean, Peter alluded to that he would have played. No, he didn't allude to. He said he was bringing him in at half, but because they were up, he didn't. And then he could have brought him in at 30 minutes left, but things were looking good, and so why risk him? The last 2 times that we've been able to go to practice, he's been practicing. He's looked good. I mean, he knocked a goal back like 3 inches by hitting a post on one of them, and it was so powerful shot. It rebounded like to the other goal. It was, but he's looked good in that little bit of time that we've been able to see him. So I think he's ready to play again. Practice versus, practice scrimmages versus real game, big difference. But I would expect there's more chance that he starts this game than last game for sure, because he's had more time. But I would not be surprised if he's a halftime sub, especially if it's 0-0 or down 1, after they've had a chance to see how they're playing and who's exactly out there, and maybe change it, do something very specific for it.
Well, my thing has been with him we need the best player to be the best player. And I think he does have the skill level to come in and make an impact, and he doesn't need to be babied and, slowly make his way back in order to be successful in MLS. So yeah, I'm confident he could come in and do that. I'm just very eager. And, I guess I'm like, not necessarily like calling him out for it, but it's like, this is his time. This is what we got him for. These are the moments. He didn't get the chance to do that last year because he didn't play in the game that we lost. But this is it. This is what he's here for.
If he scores the winning goal in MLS Cup, all is forgiven no matter what, right?
Literally, if he does that, that one goal is worth the $10 million.
Right. Exactly. Like I said, I'm not saying he won't start. I'm not wishing one way or the other, because I would love to, I don't have the medical report on his knee and all that stuff, but he's looked good in practice. There's much more chance that he'll start this game than last. I would not be surprised if he doesn't start though and come in at half, depending on the game situation, because why risk a guy who still is, a month and a half from knee surgery, 2 months, maybe, whatever it is now.
So are you guys feeling it like I am too? Is there something in the air? Am I the only one that feels like this? Do you guys smell it?
I think there's good. Yeah.
Oh no,
David.
No, this is not. I feel good. Sign.
I feel real good. Salt Lake is not good. They're a bad team. They're like, by every metric, not a good team. They were so bad that their coach quit to become an assistant coach at another MLS club. He didn't go to
Which had to be motivation. Had to be some motivation.
Oh, I'm sure it was. But, it's not like he gave up his great job as a head coach of an MLS squad to go coach a Champions League team as an assistant. He quit to go to Seattle as an assistant. Things aren't great there. They have some nice players. Rusnak and Kryluk are really nice. Aaron Herrera is a perfectly fine, fullback. They're not good. We should beat them.
And they're only in the playoffs because of a blatant handball that was not called.
Now, all that said, they've beat us twice this year, home and away. So, are we
Hold
playing?
on, Thad jumped towards his microphone to refute me on that statement. They're in the playoffs because that handball was not called, Thad?
I didn't refute that. No.
Okay.
I was like, yeah.
Okay. Right. I thought you furrowed your brow and were jumping over to say something to him. All right, David. So what do you say? Are we doing this again? We're going again on Sunday?
Hell yeah.
What about, you're a family man now? Are we tailgating? You got time to tailgate? I got some people tailgating.
It's an early game, right?
I have no idea. What time do I need to?
2 p.m.
Okay, and it is on Sunday. Okay, yes, 2 p.m. Sunday. I can.
And weather looks decent, like high of 52 or something like that. Last time I looked.
Beautiful. I don't even need a bundle.
So that's a breakfast tailgate. Are you getting up in time for a breakfast tailgate?
I can and I will. Hey, I work for a company in Europe now. I get up early. My life is very different now, you guys. I can get up early now. My dog doesn't let me sleep in. So yes, let's have a breakfast tailgate. I will devote my entire day to this. I desperately wait for playoff soccer. The Cauldron in the
Should we have a Blue
playoffs-
Testament tailgate?
I'm not sure that everyone here, I think there are people listening that have been to many games, but there is just that, and they've been to many playoff games. But I'm telling you, there is just it's the level of desperation that is in the air in the Cauldron. Just the sheer will of everyone in this area doing everything they can. Like everyone in this area legitimately believes that if I sing loud enough, that this team is going to score a goal because we have helped them. And it is just the most beautiful thing in the world. And everyone needs to experience it. I'm so here for it. I will devote my entire Sunday to it. Are the Chiefs even playing that day? Who cares? I don't even know. They'll be fine.
They moved the Chiefs game to be out of the way of Sporting.
Oh, that was this one. Oh, they flexed it. I did see that the game got flexed. That was this one. Cool. Perfect. Look at that.
That's my story, at least.
That is why they did it. Okay, nice. So Sunday, David, breakfast tailgate. You making me breakfast or what, man?
Oh shit. We'll talk. I'll text you.
He overstepped. He's overpromising.
Well, I'll text you.
Thad, you're gonna be there shooting?
Most likely.
Most likely. I'm gonna need more from you, buddy. It's playoffs.
Hey, the way they do credentials, I don't know that I'll be there. I don't see they would turn me down at this point. But
is that why you're not excited? You don't have it guaranteed yet?
I'm excited for the game. I'll be there one way or the other, but just whether or not I'm shooting.
You just don't want to give me the satisfaction of seeing you get excited on this podcast.
You know, when they win MLS Cup, you'll see me excited.
Okay, we're gonna record. Yeah.
I have very much lived my life by it's the hope that kills you. So yes, I have hope. I have good feelings about things, but I don't let it get too carried away until it's that moment. And you might see me cry on the field if they win an MLS Cup. Don't get me wrong, right? But I just try not to have like the highs be too high, the lows be too low most of the time.
Look at that. He said something prophetic and I didn't even need to ask him.
Don't seem so tough. And 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Some pointers strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.